Hey everyone, it's good to see you. Welcome to a new episode of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys Cloud online community. My name is Matt Lawson. I'm your online community manager, and today you get to meet my partner in crime. That's right. A couple of months ago, Melissa joined the team. I'm so excited to have her, and this episode is really special because one of you, somebody who's watching right now, may be winning. Hold your breath. $50 whole dollars on your very own Uber Eats gift card. I know, contain your excitement. I say that sarcastically, but honestly, we had so much fun doing the contest. I hope you all had fun getting your guesses in. And if you aren't sure what I'm talking about, tune in. I'm sure you'll learn all about it. After that, we get to hang out with the A3S team. They provide an advanced analytics suite or app that you can install in your Genesys Cloud environment, and it's really incredible. I think it offers such a diverse range of different kinds of reports, functionality, and simplicity that it's kind of a hard thing to say no to. Analytics, always been a passion of mine, so I really enjoyed the conversation that we had. That being said, I'll be honest, it's a little long. And at the end of the day, I was wondering, am I going to cut this down? And I simply couldn't. I feel like everything that they say is so important to what's going on in the app that I could not figure out exactly what content to cut. So apologies if the episode goes long. Put it on like a podcast, listen to it in the background, occasionally check in to see what they're pointing out or, showing you. But in general, I hope you enjoy the conversation and getting to know these guys. They really want to be involved in the community and help you with your question. So, check out what they're doing and feel free to comment on this episode with, any follow-up questions that you have for the team. They'd be happy to help you. Like I said, I'm really excited for you all to meet Melissa. I can't wait to share her with you, and I don't see why we need to wait. Let's get this episode going. Melissa, welcome to the show. Melissa, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm saying welcome to the show, welcome to the team, welcome to the community, welcome to all. You joining the team is obviously huge for the site, and a lot of people have had the chance now to see you in different threads. But, real quick before we get into everything that you have to share, because, it's some really cool information. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I'm based in Philadelphia. I've been here for about a decade. It's been great. I spend a lot of my time with family, friends. I call myself a certified foodie as well, just like you, Matt. I think that's why we bond. And that's kind of what I do. And recently, I really want to start rollerblading again.
Wow.
So that's something new in my life. And of course, outside of that, community is definitely one of my main passions. I found it to be a common theme throughout my life, and that's just kind of how I ended up here.
Very cool. Well, as we go on, hopefully you'll be back on the show and people will get to know you more and more, and hopefully we can keep up and follow your rollerblading career as it's just now getting started. As you know, when we have a new guest on the show, which you technically qualify as, we like to ask a random icebreaker.
Yeah.
And this one was sent into the community. So there is a good chance that you could have seen it, but maybe not. The question that I have for you, and also please know, as your manager, I am in no way planning on judging your answer on this question. Just be honest and open with me. But the question that we are asking today is, what song reflects your work ethic?
Wow. Recently I've been listening to a lot of like old school music, a lot of Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. I don't know. That's just kind of been the vibe lately. So maybe like Fighter by Christina Aguilera, because I just want to fight to find that answer, and,
Sure.
Don't give up. I think that's my motto really. It's just like, yes, gotta find a way somehow. I think, and also that's the essence of community too. So yeah, Fighter by Christina Aguilera.
Cool. So I know you have a couple of things you want to talk about. I'm very excited because we wanted to talk about a question that came in from a community member that we're going to get to in a second. And we also wanted to talk about the Ideas Lab contest. I say let's just go ahead and get into it and ask this first question. So this question came in from Tony, who emailed me. And Tony emailed me because he participated in your contest that we just did about the Ideas Lab. And he said, hey, really enjoying the contest that you guys are doing. The problem is now that I've added to the discussion, I get every reply that comes in. Is there any way that I can make this stop?
Right here is our Ideas Lab thread that we had, which had about 99 votes, which is incredible.
Yeah, really awesome.
As you can see, right? And when someone replies to a post at all, you would get notifications, right? And it turns that star in the right-hand corner on, and it turns orange, right? So if you don't want to receive notifications on that post that you replied on, just unstar it. And so that's something you would have to do manually.
Yeah. And to Melissa's point, it is something that you can control manually. So even if you just find a thread that's interesting to you and you want to, be notified as replies come in, you can start following it right there. And but that's why it happened, Tony. And sorry that happened. Unfortunately, that setting is not optional. Like, it's not something we can opt in or out of. It's just standard across our software. So sorry, your inbox took a little bit of a beating there. But hey, you never know. Maybe you just won yourself a lucrative prize.
Who knows? We'll see.
Cool. Well, I guess with that being said, what do you think, Melissa? Should we just go ahead and hop in and announce the winners?
Yes, let's do that.
Real quick, can you walk us through what was the contest about?
Yeah, for sure, Matt. So the Ideas Lab contest was about the fact that there was a record-breaking amount of submissions of 1,016 ideas submitted to the engineering and Genesys teams, right? And in the first half of the year, which was incredible.
Right, and that's just for Genesys Cloud, right?
Yes, just for Genesys Cloud, right? So that's really wonderful. And then they had 179 ideas that they accepted out of that 1,016, right? And so our challenge was, how many ideas were actually brought to life and are in development right now, right? I mean, this was so many, and 179 were accepted. So like, what does that really mean going forward, right? Mm-hmm. So that was our challenge to the community. And we had about 99 submissions. And it was really interesting to see that some people, we had one person who thought we had like 643 ideas brought to life. Which was so funny. Some people were like, oh, just like 43. And I was like, whoa, that's a little low, but then we had people who got really close to the number. And there was even one number that was the most popular. Matt, what do you think it was? Just a wild guess.
I'm going to guess like 86.
Wow, you probably can read minds. Yeah, that was very close. 90.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. We had a tracker, and I was like, wow, 5 people chose 90. And it was really interesting to see like how people can, just they're guessing the probability, right?
Well, Melissa, let's get to it. What do you think? Do you want to tell us what the winning answer was first, or do you want to tell us the winners first?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll share the winning answer. So the winning answer was actually 153 ideas brought to life and or in development by Genesys.
Wow. And that's 153 ideas just in the first half of 2021. We have a whole nother half to go.
Yeah, no, it's really, really great to see. And it just shows that like these ideas are going to be, you're going to see them yourself when you use products in the future, right?
Absolutely.
So now I'm just excited to share some of our runner-ups and announce our official winner.
So we decided that even though Genesys employees participated, the prize wasn't intended for them, but the Genesys employee that ended up maybe getting a prize, we're going to give them a little something that we're still figuring out. So Melissa, without further ado, please go ahead and announce our winners.
Yeah, for sure. And before I announce the winner, I'll be sharing a few of our runner-ups. They're very close. Okay. Just like Matt said, with employees is Maria. She was the closest. She guessed 152. So close. Wow. Maria will be reaching out to you to send you a little something to say thank you and for your participation. You were so close. Great guess.
Yes, Maria. Congratulations.
Great guess. Another employee that was so close, 150, Citra, chose so close as well. Great job. Thank you for participating.
Wow. Just on the outside looking in. Tough.
Just on the outside looking in. And now, drum roll.
Who's our big winner? We all want to know.
Drum roll, in our homes. We're drum rolling. Matthias.
Matthias, wow. Look at
Yes,
that.
from Interaxa. Matthias, you are the winner. You
Wow.
selected 148. You were our customer and partner who won the contest. We're going to be sending you an Uber Eats gift card,
Yes.
and you get to enjoy.
Yes, take your axe out, do something nice after a long day of chopping wood. Whatever you've got going on, Matthias, I hope you celebrate with honor and dignity. Good guess, and thank you so much for participating.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Melissa, it was a really fun contest. I know we're going to be doing more in the future. We actually, you and I know what our next one will be, but we aren't quite ready to talk about it because we're still figuring out prizes and stuff like that. But thank you so much for this wrap up of our previous contest, and I hope to have you on the show again.
Yes, I'll see you soon.
All right, bye. Hey, Todd. Hey, Derek. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good,
Thank
Matt.
you. Thank you.
Right. How are you?
Cool. Doing well. You all were talking right over each other right there. And to me, it makes perfect sense because I just found out joining this call that you are both from the wonderful state of Colorado. Is that true? You're both.
Yes, it is. Hey, we
Yes.
talk over each other. So.
Cool. Awesome. That's really fun. Well, I know it's your first time on the show. I'm really excited to have you. Let's do some real quick introductions. And I do have an icebreaker that I wanted to throw your way. Let's start in alphabetical order. Derek, do you mind real quick introducing yourself?
Sure, sounds good. My name is Derek Desmuth. I am a part of the Genesys innovations and expert applications team. So we focus on building reusable solutions that enhance the overall value that our customers get out of the Genesys Cloud platform.
Excellent. And Todd, what about you?
Todd Saunders. I'm also a member of the innovations team. I work with Derek and BJ. I've been with Genesys for approximately 16 years now, coming over from the Engage world and mainly dealing with reporting. And as we've transitioned to the cloud, I've come into this group to help build those services that we can support our customers with.
Cool. Very awesome. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about what you all do because you hit on a couple of things that I'm very interested in. Analytics, AI, obviously like really big fields. I love making dashboards. I love hearing what we can do to like automate processes, analyze data. So really looking forward to getting to that. However, we have a tradition on this show. It's one of our few traditions, and it's called an icebreaker question. And the icebreaker is sent in by a community member, and their whole point is just what's a good way to get to know somebody. This icebreaker came in from, I'm going to say it's Rita, I'm not sure. We'll go with Rita from Finland. Welcome. Thank you so much, Rita, for sending this in. I really love this question, and I'm glad I got to think of my answer ahead of time. Her question is, for an icebreaker, I'd like to know what song reflects your work ethic. And I know you guys have to think about this a little bit. I'm just going to say, go on the record. It's 5 o'clock somewhere has already been claimed. So, you can't steal that one, but everything else is fair game.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I like to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I would pick Dark Necessities because it's got a real good flow to the music, and gets me upbeat, gets me in the momentum to get some work done.
All right, cool. Derek, what about you?
You're always working late at night too, so maybe that's the dark part. I don't know. So reflects my work ethic.
That's right.
Gosh, well, so you're gonna kill me here. I don't even listen to much music. Work ethic. How about Eye of the Tiger? I don't know. We gotta stay focused and keep going here, right? So
yeah, I get it. Hey, not a Leonard Cohen fan in this group or in this bunch. That's totally fine. Eye of the Tiger will do, and Red Hot Chili Peppers is always right. Guys, the next portion of this show is always my favorite because I get to sit back and enjoy, listen to what you guys have to say. So I know this time you all came in, you have some questions that you get asked a lot and a demo that you wanted to go through. And then I have some questions that were sent in by some community members. We've got a lot to do. What do you think? Should we just get started?
Great.
Yep.
Cool. Let's do it.
Thanks for having us on today, Matt. Today we were talking about reporting and analytics, and we thought we would use this as an opportunity to introduce you to a new offering that our Expert Apps and Innovations group has created. We call that Analytics as a Service, or A3S. A3S is the new analytics and reporting solution that's designed by Genesys specifically to optimize the reporting and analytics of Genesys Cloud and Genesys Engage, and that includes Genesys Engage Multi-Cloud. We've had a lot of reporting and analytics offerings over the years. We've had things like Genesys Pulse, we've had GI2, we've had GCXI, and with the maturation of our cloud platform, we thought it was time to completely redesign our reporting and analytics add-ons so that they also took a cloud-first approach to doing analytics. And that's really what A3S is. So it's a cloud-based end-to-end solution for doing additional reporting and analytics with Genesys Cloud. So what is that? And sort of what's the motivation behind it? Well, while we have built-in reporting in Genesys Cloud, it's pretty good with metadata. So call metadata, looking at performance of queues, looking at your metrics by agent or by business group. It's a little bit lacking in its ability to look at data trends over time, to blend in participant data, and then to blend in, of course, external data sources. That was something that was a little bit easier in the on-prem world. If you wanted to bring in data from your customer data platform or from some other system of record, you could build a common reporting structure on top of Infomart and get that sort of rich data stitching that creates a good functional reporting. It's a little bit more challenging in the cloud because there's really no database behind the scenes. You have to access the data from the API, and that's really one of the more difficult things I think that we've heard from customers, and particularly data and analytics people that are working on our customers' teams. So pulling the data out of the APIs requires a pretty good amount of preparation, knowledge of how the APIs work, the structure of the data within those APIs. And it's fundamentally a different problem from working with data in a relational database or a data store. So we have this offering now that really abstracts that portion of it. So if you want to have your data in a database, if you want to just look at it and query it in the same way that you did Infomart on Engage, you can use the A3S solution for that. And that's really the second component of the solution. We have the seamless data ingestion engine. It abstracts the APIs, transmits the data into a cloud-scale data warehouse. This is actually a Snowflake instance that we use for this, and we make available to our customers. And then we apply business logic and ETL to create a scalable, extensible reporting data model using a relational structure that's quite similar to those who are coming from Engage. So a lot of people find it easy to use. An optional third part of that solution is we have an embedded instance of a BI platform. This happens to be Tableau that has pre-built reports on top of that data model. So if you just want to buy the whole solution end to end, and get up to speed very fast, get to the same place that you were with your previous Engage platform or Avaya or Cisco, then we offer that as well.
That's really cool. And just because I'm on a team that's now dealing with like Snowflake and Tableau licenses, are the licenses included with this package, or do you have to buy that separately?
So the core package includes both the data consumers as well as the data warehouse. The licenses for the Tableau, we allow customers to bring their own, or they can bring another third-party BI tool if they prefer. Snowflake being an analytical data warehouse, it's a column store, does very fast and efficient aggregation and subsetting. So you don't really have to worry about, if you're really using a traditional BI tool on top of a normal relational database, you don't have to worry about building that schema on top of it. You certainly can, and there may be benefits too. A lot of times people do prefer to do too, but it's optional. So short answer to your question, Snowflake and the data consumers come in the core piece. And then there's that optional pre-configured front end if folks would like that. Otherwise, they can bring their own.
Oh, cool.
So looking at it from an architecture, which I think this audience is probably going to be pretty amenable to. So the data starts on the left, so we could see the APIs that we're pulling from there. It's a totally serverless architecture, which is very secure, it's highly available and very resilient. Data gets absorbed through these AWS Lambdas, queued, and then pushed into our Snowflake instance. All of the transformation logic takes place there. And at that point, the customer can query the database itself, or they can plug in their BI or other tool in order to then do analytics and reporting on top of that data. The one interesting feature that we have here too is if you happen to be a Snowflake customer, we can federate that data right into your instance, your cloud data warehouse without any additional cost, which has been quite convenient, and Snowflake being quite common in our customer base these days. So that's kind of just a real short conceptual introduction of why we built it, what it does, what the actual architecture is. Now Todd can actually take us through the platform itself and show us what it does.
Thanks, Derek, for that walkthrough. Thanks everybody for having us here today. Today, I'd like to quickly go over some of the stuff that we have behind the scenes in A3S, including the Snowflake instance, what customers can have access to, and then also some of the front end that we built utilizing Tableau that's embedded within Genesys Cloud. So we'll start first with Snowflake. As you can see, it's just a web interface here with a SQL window. When we're ingesting data, we have data coming into a set of staging tables. Those staging tables are just from the Lambda functions. It's the raw JSON response that we get in from that call. And then the nice thing about Snowflake is it's designed to handle data change control with streams and tasks. So as we're ingesting that data from Genesys Cloud, we're immediately processing that data. It's captured in a stream, and then that stream will trigger off a task where we'll handle the aggregation or the transformation of that data. So from a ETL perspective, Snowflake has been very nice to use. A couple of the things to note about the data model, you can see we have lots of objects in here. One of the things that we have is the primary call detail table. This is going to be much like the interaction resource fact table if you're an Infomart customer, where you're getting a record per participant in Genesys Cloud, and on the Infomart side, you get a record per handling attempt. So from here, you can see we have the conversation dates, the division, the conversation ID. You also notice in the schema, I've got some data in here for participant data. One of the things that we did in the design for the backend schema was we wanted to make sure that we supported engaged customers, and a lot of the configuration that engaged customers have with capturing participant data or user data. We have a very similar type of setup here in this product. What will happen is customers can populate a control table that allows you to define which attribute that you're wanting to capture, and then the location that you want to store it. And as we're transforming the data and we're rolling up this participant data, we will tie these keys into the schema. So I can then join to find out what values you have with your interactions. And you can see here just a simple example of the mapping table. And then also if we go here to this dimension table, that's built upon that, you'll see where we're capturing the keys that we've identified within the mapping. This is just something that's captured from architect, customer segment, service type, and service subtype. Another fact table that we have is the mediation segment fact, which is the same name as what you see in Infomart. And basically, it's going to give you, for all of your ACD queues, once again, just give it a second. The conversation ID, the division, so we're able to segment data on division if we need to, or by different lines of businesses. You have your media type, your direction, your participant, the queue, the user, your embedded user data keys that would point back to your business values, and then a variety of other date time metrics or date time fields, and then the various metrics for each of your ACD records that have hit the system. So conversations, queuing records, and then we also have participant data, or sorry, not participant data, session data. So we're capturing that presence data, the primary presence data and the secondary presence data, and then we'll roll it up into an aggregate as well. So you can see in here, we have our date reference, our division, our user, and then this is summarized by hour, but we can go down to the 15-minute period where you're looking at their login time, their available time, and then their various primary presence data. We have several other fact tables that we've built. So there's an agent queue, which is going to give you your metrics by agent, by queue, similar to what you would see in RAA for Infomart. Same thing with the agents. It's also going to be rolling up just the agent's activity. Doesn't matter if it's by queue or the agent's, just their activity for inbound calls or outbound calls or emails or chat, just the agent's activity. We've also created a new aggregate called the Agent Call Center, or AGT Call Center. This is where we're looking at that one record per interaction to kind of give you a summary view of the number of interactions that you've handled and where they're coming from and how long it's taking to handle them and if they've met threshold. For some of the dimensionality, we capture a resources table, which is going to give you, for example, your listing of agents or your listing of queues. And this is just tied into the relational model for you to build that star schema and join those facts and dimensions together. So this is a lot of the Snowflake data model. Now I'll move into the actual reports within Genesys Cloud. So when we come into Genesys Cloud, we've got an embedded app, A3S. And from there's several reports and dashboards that we've built. A lot of the dashboards and reports are going to be based upon what we've seen in the engaged side of the world. So if we start here, let's start with queue performance, the agent queue performance. This is going to show you the agent's performance by queue. Across the top, you have a set of filters that you can utilize, whether it's the queue that you want to specify or the agent, or if you want to specify by the media type, you can do a variety of filtering. We also have preset dates and then a start time and an end time that you can pick instead. Across the top, we have several KPIs. These KPIs can be switched out by the customer. If a customer chooses to use this as a template to build another dashboard, they certainly have that capability. But across the top, we just put in those common, KPIs that we normally see, whether it's an agent or a queue. We have offered, accepted, handled, talk, hold, your handling metrics, and then the percent of interactions that the agents have transferred. Down here at the side, you can kind of see another bar graph where we've got the queue name and then the agents. We get a listing of how many interactions agents are handling from the particular queue. And then over here, we have a couple of different bar graphs, which will show you average handle time by day. And then we'll also show you the number of calls offered versus the number accepted by day as well, by queue. Go look at a couple more reports. So if we look at the queue performance report, this one here has 3 tabs on the dashboard. The first KPI tab, once again, you're going to get the same type of filtering across the top. Queue name, customer segment. This is that participant data that we've embedded into the schema. Service type, service subtype, and then your date parameters. Once again, across the top, you have your KPIs. And then as we go through the page, you'll get a little bit more trending in some of the graphs. For example, service level versus accepted by week. Click over to a summary tab. Once again, we're trying to focus on the trending of your interactions here. So interactions by day, the number accepted, and then versus the number entered. You can see, for example, on May the 7th, that we had a problem answering these interactions. Another piece of customization that we've added is giving customers the ability to define custom thresholds. So much like you would see in the Engage world and in Infomart and RAA, you can pick different buckets in which you can report your interactions being distributed or abandoned in. So we've created that report in here as well. So you can get a breakout of how you're handling your interactions versus different thresholds. We'll go through a couple more reports, and then we'll switch over our dashboards, and then we'll switch over to some of the grid reports. One of the nice reports that we have is this call center analytics. And this is the report that's giving you that kind of summary data. How is your enterprise doing? If we look at all the interactions that have been handled by your agents in Genesys Cloud, your customers calling in, this is the dashboard that's going to show you that. It's going to show across the top. Once again, we've got that user data that you can filter upon. So in this case, customer segment, service type, service subtype, and the attributes that are in this report, they can be any value that you map into it. It doesn't have to be a particular value called customer segment. We can have just, in the mapping, a field that points to that column. You also have your filtering by date and time or your preset dates. You can see here over at the side, we've got this one, KPI is a little bit different. Customers called in, total calls and average duration, and then the service level. And over here, we actually also included a map so we can tell the source of where these interactions are coming from. In our lab environment, it's just a couple of locations, but you can kind of get an idea of where your volume's coming from. We also have over here, you can see where we're showing you conversations by customer segment. You can filter on these segments and it'll filter down to the other components within the reports. And here we have conversations by service type or service subtype. Once again, you can filter on it and it will continue to filter down into the report. And then you also, if you wanted to, you can look at your wrap-up codes, your interactions handled by wrap-up codes. Let's see here. So a couple of other reports real quick. One of the advantages that we have in utilizing the architecture that we have is we're able to stitch together third-party sources or outside data sources. In this example, this is for a dialog flow report. And what we're able to do is we can ingest those dialog flow logs And then from there, with having the conversation ID between the two systems, we're able to combine that data together. So we can start looking at your bot sessions by language or by country, or in this case, by technical support or customer segment. And then we show you some sessions by bot, by hour. Go over to the performance tab, similar type of thing, conversations handled by hour or sessions handled by hour. And then you have your average session time by hour. And then some more trending as far as the average session time by hour. Let's move over to some of the grid reports. The grid reports are mainly there for your classical call center type of reports, where I just want to see, a grid report that lists out all my interactions, or a grid report for all my agents or queues. So that historical call center type of report that you would see. If we look at the conversations report, once again, and this is my favorite report, by the way, you come in across the top, you can do your various filtering. And here we have an additional filtering option for the number or for the metrics that you wish to see. We do capture all the metrics that are available within the API that's generated out of Genesys Cloud. So we have all those. You can pick and choose which ones you want. If you want to filter by a specific conversation ID, you certainly have that capability, and then also by time range. Once again, what's nice about this is you've got your conversation. We've added in a participant ordinal, so you can see at what point in time that the segment started, or in what order they occurred, I should say. Then you have your conversation details, some more information, your Annie, your Dinas, your direction, the participant, some flow information, some queue information. And then if there was a quality score, you could also see a quality score associated with that conversation. And then off to the side here, you've got your various metrics that can be utilized. So going over to some of the other grid reports, you can see we've got a queue details, an agent details, and a bot details. If we go to the queue details, this is going to show you, once it comes up, by queue and by date, whatever date parameters you choose, the queue, the date, and then the various measures by that particular interval. In this case, it's 15 minutes. You have your offered, accepted, abandoned, and then your various handling measures that are associated with those interactions, and how long, for example, mediation duration, things like that. Let's see. We also have, much like you see in the dashboard for the queues, with the distribution buckets, we're doing the same thing in the grid style report. You have your queue name, your date, your accepted, and then the various buckets for being accepted, and the same thing for abandoned. Come over here, you can see how many interactions are abandoned, and then the various buckets, the percentage that they've abandoned in. Let's see what else we have. We'll look at the bot details. So this is very similar to what you'd seen in the dashboards. It's just in the grid format. So we're going to come in here. Once again, you can filter by participant data for a country or for various time periods, preset date ranges, or your start and end period. Then we have by country, the number of sessions, bot sessions that were handled, the average session time, number of retries. So it comes into the bot, it's prompted for input. There's no input, so there's a retry, or the number of turns, back and forth between the end user and the bot. A couple of other tabs that we have in here, very similar tab here. I think we just drill down to further. This one's tech support driven by interval. You can get a breakout of number of sessions that were handled, and then your session time. And once again, your retries and your turns. Moving on to some of the other reports. Let's see. I'll finish here with the agent details. So the agent details is really going to look at your presence data and then the interactions also that were handled by the agents. So if we come to the first tab here, once again, across the top, you're going to get your standard filtering that we offer, which is agent or preset date ranges or specific date ranges. And then for your selection, it will give you the login time or the active time that for these agents for the entire time period that you've selected, their available time, their on queue time, their away time, their busy time, and then any secondary presences that you may have. And if we go over to the activity, it's going to drill down that same view, but into this particular view is drilled down to the hour. You've got the breakout of your presence data once again. And then if we go over to statistics, this is going to look more at your calls that have been handled by the agent. So you've got your media type, you've got your agent, your date parameter, and then the various measures that are associated with handling those interactions. So that's a quick walkthrough of the reports. Hopefully everybody has lots of questions, and we can get to that next. Thank you very much.
So is this available in the App Foundry store, or what's the status on that?
No, it's not available directly for install in the App Foundry. The deployment of this is a little bit more complex. And so you can reach out to your services director or to the account team, and they can put you in touch with the folks. Once they get in contact with us, though, if you'd like to spin up a trial, play with it for 30 days, or you just know that you'd like to get it and have it installed, it's relatively quick, usually about 24 to 48 hours. We can get the architecture and get you access to it and the data lake hydrated.
Oh, that's cool. So you all do offer a free or a trial. That's really nice.
We do, absolutely. Yeah, we're happy to let people play with the tool. This is really meant to enable our customers, and to see if it's the right fit or if they want to go with a partner solution, it's generally good to try a few and see what works best.
We do have some customer questions that I'm looking forward to getting to, but we also just had, some general questions for your team. What do people need to know about doing effective analytics with Genesys Cloud?
I think I'll take this. I guess that it's a paradigm shift from the world that you're coming from. If you're coming from on-prem, perhaps not so if you're coming from another cloud-based contact center platform. Moving again from a direct access to the database world to a place where you're having to go get your data from APIs just changes the technology and the skill sets that you need to be successful. And there's other things to think about too. The APIs have some rate limitations on them, and so there's quite a bit of logic that you need to take into account in order to use them effectively. Beyond that, though, I think the best practices are as varied as the specific use cases that our customers are pursuing.
Since cloud is 100% API driven, what are the challenges you are seeing our customers face?
Todd, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, a lot of the challenges
that I do. So.
Yeah, a lot of the challenges are one, what APIs do I utilize? There are many versions of APIs that will give you similar data back, but what APIs do I need to utilize? How do I map the data that I'm getting out of those APIs into what I used to report upon? And then how do I parse out the JSON response that's coming back? So a lot of questions around that. And there are several nuances between the different APIs. For example, the conversation details query behaves just a little bit differently than the jobs endpoint query, but that can cause a lot of confusion and frustrations with customers when they're just trying to get the data out of Genesys Cloud. So we're trying to take that burden off of their shoulders, where they have to figure out a new product if they're migrating or coming on new. If they have to also build out an ag engine or reporting engine to push into their enterprise. So we're just trying to take that initial burden that can run for months, if not years, off of the customer by giving them this product.
What is the direction for reporting in the product?
A couple areas of focus for us are to bring in quality management data, develop good reports and dashboards around quality management, speech and text analytics as well. While we have excellent speech and text analytics within the platform, customers want to look at trends and topics over time, see what themes are spiking, and we're going to be bringing a lot of that capability into this as well. Beyond that, so we're currently in the process of developing a real-time engine as well that would allow sort of up to the second understanding of select KPIs. And so there's a lot of folks who definitely want that kind of situational awareness or really live up to the second operational reporting.
Cool. One of the questions that was emailed to us is it probably has a little less to do with Terminators than I would have liked, but I mentioned that your team is big into AI. And so I had kind of a spin-off question, but I do want to ask this question because it's also been on my mind. It relates to, I think, what you just said. When it comes to AI in particular, what movie or book do you think gives us the most accurate glimpse of how it will be used to benefit society in the next 5 years or 10 years?
Okay. You're the movie buff on this one, Matt. I think you should actually take this one.
Oh gosh. Well, that was actually going to be my question, because I always feel like in a lot of instances where I hear about AI, I hear about it kind of has a negative connotation to it when you start thinking about the future. So when I saw this question, I thought it was good because at least they put it in a positive light. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd answer that one either, since they're broadly dystopian, I think, as a genre. And I would say perhaps banal is the more likely future for the near term. That said, there's some pretty, incredibly interesting stuff going on around like GPT-3, some of the things that OpenAI has recently released, but none of those positive ones, as I know of, are being put into have been built into a movie yet. Sorry, I don't have an answer for that one, but if you find any good ones, do let us know. I'd like to see an upbeat one as well.
How do I support my downstream data consumers across the business?
Yeah, that's one thing that we're allowing customers to do, or we will also do that for them as well, is build that layer within Snowflake that gives them that same structure that they're used to consuming their downstream reports in. So I've got a customer now where they've got 4 various extracts that they were pulling out of a previous environment, and we've built those for them. So for them, they just have to consume what they've always consumed. It's just a different data source. So we will work with the customer to make the transition from their existing environment to our environment as seamless as possible.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciated it. I hope as your product evolves, we can have you back on soon.
Sounds great.
Thank you very much.
I'd love to come back. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our host and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Do we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys online community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the Helpful Links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you. We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers!